right, all right. Oh my goodness, there we go. Guys, I have had to try to start this video like 7 or 8 times. So thank you so much for your patience. You angel. I saw you were there for me each time. And then you would see I would have to delete it and try it again and delete it and try it again. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. All right. So we are going to get into a specific message. Now, here's the thing. I feel like we should add that in. I've actually never had YouTube have a glitch like that where it kept saying live streaming is unavailable right now. It would let me prep everything, get to the point of clicking go live, and then pretend like it was going to be able to connect. And then it would just say live streaming is not available again and again. And I'm not joking. I lost track of how many times it was, but probably 5 or 6 at least. So let's keep that in mind also for a very specific kind of unexpected twist. Perhaps somebody keeps attempting something that they had planned on, because I should have been live 15 minutes ago. But perhaps somebody was trying to do something that they had planned on and they're just unable to access something. Maybe something's buffering. Now, in my mind, though, what I had come into mind is like a scent. And it's not that I was smelling it. It was like somebody else was like, oh my gosh, that smell that stays like in my nostrils. But it was a nice smell. It was like a cologne or a perfume, but it was like it was staying in somebody's nose, or in their, maybe in their memory bank. But it's definitely someone who has God, it seems like a good memory, except sometimes, when you smell something and it stays in your nose for a while, it can almost make you sneeze, or you keep smelling it like all day long. And you don't know, you're not still smelling it, but somehow it's just like it still is in the brain. That's the way I would describe this. Is like, maybe we could say it's a memory that won't let go, but we have the Judgment card and the Four of Cups to start our storyline. Hi guys, so great to see everybody. That Judgment with the Four of Cups speaks of strong Scorpio energy. But in this case, we do have somebody that's like, at least contemplating or considering like a new beginning. And then here we've got somebody who's sitting here. Maybe we have a masculine who's taken themselves out to go camping, and they are sitting out by the tree of life, sitting out in the woods. It's a great place to clear our minds. Nature is so soothing. But it does look like they're kind of lost in thought. She is also lost in thought, but her thoughts seem to be different. His decidedly have an air of like a regret. Hers seem to have an energy of healing. We have these doves, like a little baby bird dove that she's trying to help. We've got a dove flying overhead. She's got kind of that medical cross there on her t-shirt. She could work in the medical industry as well, or in some capacity. Also, honestly, she could just be British as well. That's just standing out to me. It's not quite the symbol of Britain, but that's what it's linking my brain to. Let's take a closer look at this. So her seeing white birds, specifically pigeons or doves. These are doves for sure. But let's just look at her first. Okay, we have Emperor. I feel like she has this great sense of hope and a great sense of I know that this is a good man, or I know that this is a good guy. There is an element where I've seen this power. I've seen what he can be, or I've seen this beautiful energy of him. So I believe that when he's healed, he's a full-blown emperor. There is like a loss. Maybe I don't know if he's had a death in the family or something, but she has like this confidence that he will get his bearings again. Whatever has happened, she believes in this. She believes he's a natural born leader. She believes he's fair, he's balanced, he's kind. She has real confidence in all of this, in him. How about the Four of Cups? Let's go back over there. Seven of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so he has isolated himself, but for good reason. He doesn't pull any punches about anything. He's not somebody who lies or tries to bluster their way through things. If something in his life plans just fell apart, if his plans aren't shaping up the way he wanted them to, and he's really bummed about that, he's honest about it. He's honest about how he feels about things. He's honest about the disappointment. He's honest about the things that go wrong in life. He doesn't try to sugarcoat them. that could actually be really quite like a good, like honoring that I feel the way I feel. If I'm having a crap day, I let myself admit I'm having a crap day. I mean, I don't know that I think he's out there wallowing. If anything, he's kind of like got himself into a place where he can breathe, he can, unwind a little bit. So it just kind of feels like we have a pretty honest individual, but something either revealed itself to not be what he thought it was going to be. Maybe it's a disappointment in a job. Maybe he lost a job. Maybe he lost a contract. I mean, it's always hard to either take a loss or get fired or anything like that. Even if we hated the job, it still kind of sucks to get fired, right? But for him, he's owning it, but he's dealing with it himself. There's a disappointment. This is not the way it was supposed to go. I do not feel the way these cards are looking right now. I do not feel that he's like, oh, I'm so sad because I messed things up with her. I don't think so at all. I think he's just handling something that he's upset with, and she is at a distance, but sending him that energy of support. Like, you'll get through this. I know you will. I know you're made of way better, way tougher stuff. This little setback is nothing for somebody like you. She has all this like wonderful confidence. Now, I don't know if she's saying it directly to him because it looks like they are at a different like location or something, even though they're still operating on the same wavelength, right? The nature of both of them seems to be very similar because they're both out in nature. We have a 10 of Swords. We have the Magician. Well, on her part, though, she may be saying, I can't like give him the confidence. I can only say that I let him do what he needs to do. Let him feel the way he needs to feel. She could be a tattoo artist, by the way, or she is somebody who feels things very deeply, but she also makes pretty significant like promises to herself. And I'm thinking that she has either some body art or something on her that's very personal, that is a reminder to herself to like not try to look. Maybe she knows she's a fixer. Maybe she knows she wants to heal things, people, broken objects. Maybe she knows she's the person who always finds a baby bird that needs to be, bottle fed. But she's learned, I don't do that to people. I don't look for people to fix. I let them fix themselves. I promised myself this. Let them go. They'll be all right. You can send them respect. You can send them goodwill, but let them do what they need to do in their own time. And I kind of feel like this is her saying, it's true. I don't need to, make them the focal point of my life, or even make sending them good vibes the focal part of my life. I've had my own sorrows and things too. I've lived a life where things don't always work out for me. I survive. It just feels like this is the reminder, kind of a sharp reminder to her not to be overly empathetic to where she accidentally puts all of her focus on someone else's journey. So basically we have a feminine who's possibly learned how to withdraw her energy just a little bit and give people the space to go through what they need to go through and be a different kind of a support pillar to them. She has like long hair, and both of these cards here, I get a very strong like Native American, her gorgeous glossy like blue-black hair. Here she's fair-skinned with like blonde or reddish hair. Maybe she changes her hair color, but it seems like the style is the same. This longer hair that just might be something that represents like the wisdom that she's gained. I always look at like the length of hair sometimes as like passage of time, and with passage of time sometimes we gain wisdom. We have the Magician sideways for her. She's getting a lot of major arcana and then a 10. So this is all big stuff for her. In truth, whatever they have had go wrong in their life, I don't want to minimize their unhappiness, but this is all minor arcana stuff. This is not going to actually shake or destroy them, not in the big picture of their life. For her, though, this is a bigger test, if that makes sense. Her not swooping in to try to bandage their broken wings, her having the, like, okay, I told myself, don't be an overgiver. Remember, let people go through their own stuff in life, be a different kind of support network, give them respect, tell them, you got this. And if they ask for help, then offer it, but don't try to make them your focal point. I feel like this is a way bigger component of the story is for her. It's not for him. It's her being like an empath that is in control of herself, which is great. She still would like to work with this person. She still is, and she may have great ideas on, different ways for them to apply their talents, their skills, but she knows not to like come in like a wrecking ball. There's no Miley Cyrus thing going on here. She's not going to come in like a wrecking ball and insist, let me fix you. I've got all the plans. Here's how we can manifest you getting out of this funk, out of this hole, out of this, obstacle. No. She's like, I do have an active mind. I do have great ideas that I can share with them, but they have to want that. So if they want to ask me, or they want to share their woes with me, or if they want my opinions, or if they want more of my support, I will happily give it, but I do have to let them ask me for it first. All of this is like a huge exercise for her to be like in control of herself and not overstep any boundaries. Let's go back over to him for a second. 4 of Cups and the 7 of Swords. Okay, King of Pentacles. Yeah, this is only a minor setback for him. I think he will absolutely solve his own problem, and it may not take more than about 4 days. Sure, he could lose a contract, and then you know what? He'll bounce back. Why? Because as a King of Pentacles, he's resilient. He has extra, nest eggs tucked away. He's not a one-trick pony. He has other skills to fall back on. He has other things that he can do. A King of Pentacles has a foundation. And so, even if something falls apart, you still have other stable areas of your life. This is really great that she's not like rushing in to, like carry him on her shoulders and piggyback him out. I think he's going to be just fine. He's got this. And even he knows this. Even when he's bummed, even when he's upset, even if he feels like, damn it, I messed that one up. I shouldn't have, whatever this was, it feels like it's a business related thing or a life plan. But you know what? It's all right. He has a backup plan. He has plan B. He has plan C. He has plan G. He has lots of different backup plans. If anything, I think that this is giving him the opportunity to like flex his own, brain muscles and, all right, got myself into a jam. How am I getting myself out of this one? This is kind of a funny story because lots of times we would assume that, if somebody that we care about gets stuck, the way to be a good partner or a good family member or a good friend is to instantly come rushing in and solve the problem for our friend, for our partner. And there's a fine line between, yes, sometimes people that we love are not good about asking for help. And we got this urge and we're like, I just want to go over and check on them. I have something I can offer. I have a solution and I just need to go lay that out to them. And then other times that would be too much. This could very well be like a mother and son role right now. This could be a parental figure who's learned, don't go rushing in and try to scoop up my child because they're not a child. They're a full-grown man. Let me just say, I know you'll figure this out. You're super smart. You got this. I know you'll find a way through it. You always do. Maybe that's the way she's like, that's why it's such a big lesson for her in this story. I don't know. I don't really see romance here. So it could be family. We've got the 8 of Coins sideways. It's funny how they both needed a chance to work on some elements, right? We know she had to work on refraining from trying to be a fixer, and he had to kind of work on like maybe managing when he gets disappointed. Life is full of disappointments. The best thing we can ever do is learn how to fail with grace and not beat ourselves up over it and know that life goes on, even if we don't get everything we wanted. And even if we mess things up and even if we make a stupid mistake and it costs us something and we're embarrassed about it, all we can say is this is not going to define my whole life. I'm sure that I'll bounce back. I'm sure that with a little extra work, I can recover, whatever the loss has been. There's an element of maybe he did need to go back and work a little harder. And if she had jumped in to just find a solution for him, he wouldn't have gotten this really valuable lesson of personal self-worth. Also, being able to rely on yourself, being in a few, sticky situations, that can be something where it's like, huh, that makes me not afraid of anything, because I've been in worse situations. That confidence boost. We've got an Ace of Wands upright. There is passion, or there is creativity. This is what sits between the two of them. Okay, so are we going into a potential romance? Did we just preserve the ability for them to have a romance because she held herself in check and gave him the level of respect to say, he'll figure this out. If he wants my help, he'll ask me. Of course, I care about him. Of course I want to help, but let him do it his way, and then let him present himself, and as the champion that he is, when he's ready. It may be something like that. This could be about, because this is passion and desire. Look, nothing makes you feel more heroic than when you solve your own problems. And I'm hearing it's a super bonbon. Move aside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. There's something about, like, he's coming in pretty strong is what it looks like. Oh, yeah, really strong. We have the Lover's card, and we have that Page of Cups sideways. This feels like there is so much more like mutual attraction, mutual respect. I'm wondering then, was this a romance that hadn't even become a romance yet? Was this like she met this person, she liked him, he liked her, then the bottom dropped out of his world, and instead of her trying to rush in and do too much and, change the dynamics to where she's like, oh, I just met you, we're interested in each other, but something fell apart in your life. Okay, move in with me, I'll pay your bills. Like, she's not doing any of that, which is really good, because it also changes the dynamic where that could have been insulting to him. Instead, she just kind of like gave him the space to deal with what he needed to, and it's like, hey, I'm here. But yeah, no, I mean, I get it. You've got to take care of some stuff. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm here for you if you want to talk or something. She might have played it much more reserved, much more cool, by still letting him know she was there, but giving him that space and that respect. You handle what you need to. This feels like it's amazing because it did not destroy their potential dynamics by setting up this like, hey, you're a screw up, but I'm the one with the answers. That's what our dynamics are. So when you screw up again, don't worry, I'll fix it again later. Like, that is, I'm not saying that would have been her intentions, but it could have unintentionally created a weird dynamic, and instead we avoided that in this story. Again, this is such a tough story because I'm walking this fine line of like, but isn't it nice to help people? Yes, but it's also nice to respect people. And this is that, that very subtle, how do you handle things right to be there for somebody, but also not take over and not create a power dynamic that would possibly have ruined the ability for them to have a healthy lovers connection. They need to be on equal turf, equal footing. And lots of times in life, we're going to have failures. We're going to have disasters. Once characters are like in a romance together and it's established, then it's like, you're slipping, I will catch you, and vice versa. Then there's already the trust built. They started on equal footing. And now if things get a little bit off here and there, it doesn't matter, because then you've already built the trust. And it's like, hey, a relationship is not exactly 50-50, right? It's kind of a sliding scale. Sometimes it's going to be, whatever, 52-48, and vice versa. That's okay. We can support each other differently once it's established. But these two weren't there yet. But this was a tough navigation, especially for her, because she wanted so much to run in and give way too much, and she didn't. To her great credit, she didn't. She let him handle his own stuff, and now they have the opportunity to start a real romance on equal footing. Fantastic. Can I just see, I'm just curious, what was the upheaval or the dramatized situation that he went through that seemed like, oh, I just had a huge upheaval in my life? Page of Cups, he may have to say, sorry, I can't do such and such. You notice he's standing on sand. I mean, this could be anything. I mean, look, humans love to think that we are in charge and we're powerful and we're holding on to everything. But in truth, everything about our life is us standing on sand, right? We never know when life is going to just totally throw us a curveball. Nobody can predict the things that can happen. So I'm just going to say, whatever, if this relationship had begun and then it was like, oh my God, the bottom just dropped out of my world, everything just shifted. Lost my job, don't have enough money to pay for this. I'm going to have to downsize. I'm going to have to, I mean, it could have been anything, but this is like, I'm so sorry, but who you met me as is not who I am right now, because everything just collapsed and it came in fast. That Knight of Swords, whatever this was, it was a massive upheaval that he did not see coming. And it's like, I need to apologize, but I have to withdraw right now because I have to shunt all of my energy to, what do they call it in like sci-fi films? Vital life support only. Like, we don't have our thrusters, we don't have our warp speed, we don't have our shields up anymore. We have to just revert all energy and redirect it to vital life signs right now. That's the best that we can do. We have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, it was definitely something that reared its ugly head, threw him off guard, possibly wounded him, but also gave him a chance to be the warrior who overcomes the wound. I keep feeling like it was a loss of stability in his life. So I would say job, I would say, location to live, or I mean, it could be loss of someone, but I don't think so. I don't see it that way. I see it as a loss of stability that he chalks up to his own foolish mistake. Losing a job, losing a contract. I say contract because of this card, and he might even say, I mean, yep, I screwed up. They lost confidence in me. They didn't want me to take the job because I made a mistake somewhere. I can own that. But it impacted everything. And I really got to buckle down and take care of some of my own stuff right now. So love has to be put on the back burner for a bit. And I think this is her saying, don't worry, we all make mistakes, but I also know you're great. You will sort this out. And when you do, come talk to me. Can't wait to hear from you. Call me in the meantime if you feel like it. That's how she handled this. That's super amazing. I feel like he comes out of this way wiser, feeling more empowered. I feel like whatever it is that he does, he grows from this, right? Because he's all in green. She sees him all in red as like a powerful leader. He sees himself as somebody who just got super humbled and then had to grow some more. And he sees himself, though, as a person who is capable of learning from a mistake, a person who's capable of owning his own stuff and becoming more stable. The net result of whatever this collapse was in his life is it actually just made him stronger. It made him feel better about himself in the long run because he course corrects it somehow and he winds up stable again. And I think, let's just ask, what are you thinking of her once you get your life settled again? I don't even think it takes him that long to get it settled. Six of Swords. There's an element of like, okay, she didn't make me feel bad about my mistake. She didn't make me feel like there was something that we need to like rehash and hash out again and again. It's just move on. You get tangled up and you tango on. Six of Swords. It's not even a big deal. If we can move on from this. She didn't make it into the biggest deal in the world. Nine of Swords. He might have thought though that she was really disappointed, but she still hid it well. If she was stressed out, man, she didn't let me see it. Justice and Eight of Swords. He's the one who still feels really bad though. Like he let her down. And yet there's this element of that he knows that's just him. God, I hate the fact that, I couldn't follow through with her. Okay, but it looks like you are now, right? Now that you've got things settled. Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Hell yeah, he is. In a big way. I think if anything, he has more to offer now. And I feel like there is that element where even if it were a disappointment, right? Because obviously life had to come to a screeching halt for a period of time. He could not pursue things with her. He needed to spend his energy doing what he had to. And even if he thinks that was such a bummer, that was so, it wasn't fair. It wasn't right that that's what happened. At the same time, his intentions here are like, hey, at least she knows I'm like legit. I can tell her the truth. Like I really did have to go work on all that stuff. I've been working really hard, and I'm really excited that I got things settled again. This is him like saying she also trusts me because she knows I told her the truth in the first place. I didn't hide anything. I had a huge upheaval in my life. I didn't hide anything. I let her know. So she knows she can trust me even when things go poorly. So if she still wants to deal with me, I'll know that we actually have a good rapport still. What about for her? How do you feel about him, especially because he's obviously coming back into your life? Queen of Pentacles, Two of Cups. She's been nuts about him from the beginning, huh? She's like, that's my man. That's my person. I knew it. King of Pentacles. I knew he'd get this sorted. And I knew as long as I treated him with mutual respect, how would I want to be treated if I were having some struggles? Most things I can solve on my own. And I want to be not treated like I'm the weak link, you know? So I treated him the same way I would want to be treated because there's got to be that mutual energy. I've got to be able to see it through my lens, but also see it through his. But I do know that I treated him the way I would want to be treated. And that's because I really do resonate well with him. I just feel like him coming back into her world is like, yep, I knew it. I knew that we're a good match. Do these two really have a nice potential then? We have a Four of Pentacles. Well, no matter the time apart, neither one has like let go of each other. Is that where we get the lingering perfume cologne? Is it they both remember the scent of the other one? Is that what this is all about? I've been holding on to the memory of you, the smell of you all this time. It's been a while, but I've been holding on to this idea of us. The Hierophant. A Hierophant is like, I knew that this was serious right out of the gate. This is one not to let go of, but also not to, force. Instead, just let it play out. Trust in the divine timing or trust in our higher self that says, oh, I'm still holding on to the idea of them and the hope that this would work. And now it's come full circle. And it's like, yeah, that faith has been spot on. I still remember them. I still hold on to the idea of them. And now, sure enough, our time has come. That's actually really lovely. I liked the calmness of this. The fact that it wasn't, one of those stories of like latching on and, with talons and claws, and there was no, frustration of, well, why don't you just let me help? Why don't you just let me fix it? There was none of that sense of urgency, because she really understood each person has to have their space to deal with what they must, the way they must. So it actually looked really nice and really respectful. But gosh, these two have a beautiful love story up ahead. All right, you guys, thank you everybody so much for being here. Thanks again for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you guys do not already know that, it's a tremendous help to any channel, not just mine, but anyone whose channel you watch. It just helps the algorithm, which then in turn helps the videos to actually circulate. And of course, without that, then nobody ever sees them, and then there's no point in making them. So that is actually a huge simple action, but it actually has huge implications for free content creators, and the action is free. So thank you guys so much. I don't remember to thank you enough for that. So great to see you guys, night owls. EM, thank you again for all your patience with me. Seed Time, Ginger Montague, Voyager 2, Cassie, I know, night owls. I had to wear my owl again tonight. Thank you, Miller. I'm not training for a marathon. I believe I should, but I'm not doing it. Eduardo Jimenez, that's wonderful. You moved. Congratulations. You must be a really good mover, because I know you said you were working on it, but it seems like it was only about a week. So I feel like you knocked that thing out of the park. Moving is so much work. So well done, my dear. Congratulations. Mon, wonderful to see you. We missed you too, hun. Thanks again, Ginger and Tasha and Karen Bishop. Thank you for the heart. Fee's Mystic Faith. Great to catch you also, love. All right, San Juanita, I'm glad your team won. That's awesome. The Queen Bee, wonderful to see you. Yeah, it's probably an update or something on YouTube that was bogging stuff down. I'm sure it's probably straight across the board. They're always, adding in some new features and making things a little bit more streamlined. And of course, that, just like upgrading anything, it's it's got to like, you know, click into place. So that's probably what it was. Ah, Cassandra Soros. I so love saying your name. I so love it. But that's beautiful. Rare Lestrange, wonderful to see you tonight, honey. Empress Unicorn 111. Hello to you. How are you tonight, love? Monique B, awesome to see you. And of course, EM, you're first in the house. Stephanie, hi, hun. Tina, it is my pleasure. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I gotta say, I was all energized today, and now I feel myself winding down. Like, like my energy is kind of like slowly sapping away. But I guess it is almost 11 o'clock, so maybe that's why, at least where I'm at. So I know for a lot of you, you guys are real night owls, and it's super, super late. Shout out to you on the East Coast, guys, and everybody who's many, many hours ahead of me, whether you're 3 hours ahead or 8 hours ahead, London or something. But thank you guys so much for hanging with me. Lots of love. I will see you guys again tomorrow. At midnight on the other channel, we will still release the other video. Oh, hang on. I have to do a Cancerian video. It's Tuesday. So I'm not going to dip out just yet. I'll be right back here on this channel and do a Cancerian video. I'll see you guys in a few. Bye.